My last video blew up, in a good way, and judging by the comments, a lot of people are done being polite about modern TV, particularly fans of the three big science fiction franchises. Today, I want to take a look at your comments, your thoughts, and yes, I'm even going to admit where you were right and I was wrong. Let's break it all down. In my examination of the various modern Star Trek shows, I apparently committed a war crime by calling Lower Decks a kids' show. There was comment after comment coming to the defense of Lower Decks. And it turns out you were right and I was wrong, but I didn't come to that conclusion immediately. Many people compared it to Rick and Morty, which makes sense. Lower Decks was created by Mike McMahon, who served as writer and story editor on Rick and Morty. But it's one thing for an alcoholic Rick to act like he does, or a young Morty to act childish. But someone serving on a starship would have much more maturity and discipline than the characters on Lower Decks. And that's where I got hung up on Lower Decks. I just couldn't imagine any command crew tolerating half of what these characters get up to. I'm a fan of TOS, Next Gen, and Voyager, where the ship's chain of command is taken seriously. In Lower Decks, the characters behave like they're in a modern sitcom, and more often than not, their own stupidity causes the plot points that need resolution. And I know that's the joke, I get it. It just creates a mismatch in my brain between Starfleet and the level of chaos in Lower Decks. I like to think I'm a fairly open-minded person, so given the amount of support people gave Lower Decks, I forced myself to watch the entire first season. And here's what happened for me. Once I stopped asking it to be Star Trek in the traditional sense and let it be what it actually is, a workplace parody set in the Trek universe, I kinda grew to like it. But I was still getting annoyed at how juvenile the characters can be. I mean, you're serving on a starship for crying out loud. This isn't high school. But I committed myself to watch a full season to see what all of you were on about. And the more I watched, the more it clicked for me, particularly in how Lower Decks pays homage to other Trek shows. My favorite moment so far is this line in the episode Strange Energies.
Oh my God, Mariner, you gotta get me out of here. They keep showing me lights.
No, I'm still...
I had a good chuckle at this comedic callback to one of the greatest Next Gen episodes, Chain of Command, where Captain Picard is tortured and repeatedly told to say there are 5 lights. It's obvious the people making the show truly love and respect old school Star Trek. And then I got to Season 1, Episode 10, No Small Parts. That changed everything. What a fantastic episode. The show now has my respect, and I'm looking forward to watching more. So to everyone who called me out on Lower Decks, you were right and I was wrong. I'm glad I made that video because your comments pushed me to take another look at Lower Decks and showed me that I was missing out on a great show. Before we move on to a more comprehensive analysis of the comments, I wanted to briefly touch on 2 smaller threads that kept showing up. Number 1, in the video, I talk about how I want a whole show of Beard Guy from Disney's Star Wars Ahsoka. Turns out Beard Guy won't be making more Star Wars anytime soon, as the actor who plays Beard Guy, Ray Stevenson, died on May 21st, 2023 at the age of 58. R.I.P. Beard Guy. Number 2. Someone accused me of using AI for my voiceover because I mispronounced a few actors' names. My mistake. Couple that with my deadpan monotone voice, and this person thought I was AI. And it's not the first time someone has accused me of using AI for my voiceover, but no, that's just how I sound. Maybe I need to adopt some goofy personality and spice things up.
Hey, what's up, Quahog? From the station that reaches the beaches, you're listening to Dingo and the Baby!
What do you think? Now, let's zoom out and take a look at the overall sentiment people shared in the comments. In general, there was an outpouring of comments that shared the same sentiments I put forth in my video. A few comments summed it up perfectly. One viewer said that modern sci-fi has dropped the science and replaced it with feelings. Another pointed out that corporate investment, not storytelling, is now the priority. And over again, people said the same thing. Our shows aren't rooted in their core DNA anymore. And this comment summed up the general sentiments you all shared pretty well. I'm okay with people having preferential differences, but I would say that apart from the legacy Star Treks, ending with Enterprise, absolutely everything that they have produced since then has been unwatchable crap in the extreme. As far as I'm concerned, it's not Star Trek at all. I also referenced a video titled, "Why is everyone in Kenobi a moron?" And this is a comment in response to that. Not just one Star Wars TV series, but the question, why is every character a moron, can be aptly applied to just about any show since 2010. This is another good point. Many of the problems I discussed aren't isolated just to Star Trek, Doctor Who, and Star Wars. These problems are affecting all of our modern television shows and movies. Next, we have this comment. That's the problem with Star Trek and Star Wars. They used to both be shows you had to wait for and savor. Now they're shoveling shit as fast as they can with both hands, and I gave up long ago, to the point that you're mentioning shows here I've never even heard of. Ah yes, franchise fatigue. Studios are pushing out so much new content that it's difficult to keep up with or even care about it. Star Wars definitely suffers from this. But there's two different ways to do the math with Star Trek. The number of shows created within a period of time versus the amount of hours of content created. By the math, we have old Trek giving us 4 shows in 18 years, which averages out to 1 show every 4.5 years, with a rough total of 466 hours of content that averages out to 26 hours of content per year. And New Trek has given us 6 shows in 9 years, which averages out to 1 show every 1.5 years, with a rough total of 153 hours of content that averages out to 17 hours of content per year. So, excluding older TOS numbers, Old Trek had less shows released on an average yearly basis, but more hours of content created on an average per year. So, there you have it. That's the full debrief on my video. Star Trek, Doctor Who, and Star Wars, what the hell happened? I was completely wrong in my opinions about Lower Decks, but most of you agreed wholeheartedly with the overall sentiment I was putting forth in that video, again, Lower Decks aside. And while there wasn't anything necessarily revelational in that video, I think it did a nice job of summarizing things across the 3 big science fiction franchises. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.